Hello boys, it's me, Cool Yoshi here, and welcome back to my 100% blind playthrough of the new Pokémon Snap for Nintendo Switch. In the last episode we left off finishing some Lental request in the jungle and moving to Swerve Forest, but we're back here because there's still some star photos we missed, and I'm going to start with one of the more interesting runs to get that I've had some interesting time trying to get. So we continue from the research everywhere, and you remember when we scared the Espeon away using some Ariados to get to the other spot. Well, if you actually take another picture there, she'll get scared into the swamp, and then a couple of other things appear. So our goal for the free stars to get a photo of the exact moment Swapper jumps out is really quick. And for the 1-star photo of Ledian, we can simply get pretty much any photo of it while it's awake. There are multiple different paths we can take to do that. And I'll also go ahead and show you another secret that I did before. Now, I'm actually going to do this with the secret path as well, because doing this with the secret path allows you to do some more stuff. Anyways, one of these Ledians, after you do a couple of movements, will eventually do a flip, and that's what you need to achieve a free star. This is one where you'll probably want to take a little while to do some stuff, because otherwise the things are crazy. Now, actually getting the Hells is not as bad as I thought. It can be kind of difficult, and look, thankfully we did get the Swampert free star in the first try. That's good, because I was worried that would not happen. For Ledian, pretty much any 1-star photo will count. I will take one that is closer down, because obviously a closer up photo of Ledian will make things a little bit easier. And for the rest of these, as you can see, I'm actually using a new feature now. I completely forgot that I could just use automatic movement to automatically go through the different levels as I went through the different stuff to make things more interesting. So rather than just doing the same thing again, I decided to change things up a little bit here. And yeah, and you can see I had burst mode on, because obviously that's a pretty difficult photo to get. Whenever we enter this kind of mode, we want to have burst mode on at all times, because if we don't, things get a little bit more difficult. I do turn it off during high score runs, just because we won't be able to get a good score if we use that. But if we have burst out on, it could be really useful. Okay, so for this next one, we can't really get a good photo of Ledian doing a flip. To get a good diamond photo, we have to get a photo of it doing a flip. But to get that flip to happen and also be at a good rank, we have to take the regular path like we did before. I mean, we're actually going to take the alternative route again. And the actual route we take doesn't matter. All that matters is this one leopard that is hiding on a nearby cliff on one of the sides. And she will always be here no matter what. All you have to do is make sure she is hit with the Illumina Orb, and you will see if you keep her lit up with the Illumina Orb, she'll actually never unlight, no matter how hard you try. And I'm doing this backwards because what you're looking for to happen after that is for a leopard to come by and chase you, because then he'll call his friend over, throw an Illuminor at that one, and that's what causes the alternative route. We need this in order to get a better photo of that particular route. So anyways, the Neo one is now off course. And from here, we are pretty much just gonna spam photos like crazy. As soon as these nearby Ledians stop, one of them's gonna eventually do a flip. Now, if you do want to get a good photo of this, you'll have to wait for quite a bit. As long as they're in the Illumina state, they could potentially do a flip. As you know, the flip, similar to some of the other stuff we've seen before, is one of the poses they could do. It's kind of difficult to get on camera, though, so yeah. The only way to get a good score on it is to do it while taking the alternative route. In fact, if you are going for a really good score on your Pokedex, make sure to take the alternative route every time you do this. Okay, unfortunately, I did not get on the first try. It's actually kind of difficult. It's one of the more difficult ones to get because when you try and take the alternative route to get stuff, it can be really difficult to get this free star. And yes, unfortunately, there are no alternatives to this. The easiest way I know of doing this is to just keep on taking this alt route until things happen. And unfortunately, doing research won't allow you to take the route all the time. You have to wake up that Liepard every time you want to do the alternative route. You can tell that you're going to do it correct when you do a couple other things. Anyways, I'm going to employ a little bit of a speed strategy here. Hitting this Ledian from the side rather than from the left forces it to run away a little bit quicker so we can get to the regular route a little bit faster. Beyond that, it's basically similar to what we've done before, except this time we're doing the entire thing in fast motion. In other words, our camera is moving kind of fast, if you know what I mean. And the way you tell that that's the correct Liepard is if it moves as you... If you've Illumina orbed it at all, it'll always awake no matter what. And yes, every time you do this, this Liepard will awake. If you don't do this, Liepard will just be sleeping here and nothing will happen. But if you awaken his friend, that's what causes this alternative. This is arguably one of the most secret routes in the game. The fact that Liepard just kicks you down to another route like that is absolutely incredible to watch. I have burst mode on because obviously this is a very difficult photo to get. Pretty much have to spam the crap out of the photos. And constantly zoom as well. And wait for them to do the photo. Whether or not they actually do it is completely random. You could slow down things a little bit by doing a couple of other stuff. I believe the idea of it is you want to catch them in the middle of a flip. Now, if you are having troubles, you don't necessarily have to do this all the time. If you're at a specific point in the alternate route and summon them early enough, you can just get it without doing the alternate route. Since that doesn't seem to be working, I'll go ahead and go to that now. The only photo that will count, as far as I know, is you have to get a photo of Ledian zoomed in while it's in the middle of its flip, which is rather difficult to get, as you can see. This one, very difficult. I know there's been lots of difficult photos, but some of them are just insanely difficult. I don't want to leave without doing this because eventually after I finish this, I will have to go back to 1 star for a different 4-star photo later. So I need to make sure I do that as well. In case you're wondering, yes, the only way to get good scores with your later star stuff, and mainly the way to get a good 4-star Ledian photo, is to immediately go down to the alternate route. Without the alternate route, you can't really get any of the good star scores. That being said, I think not taking it is a little bit easier for the first part. So this time we're not going to disturb the Liepard because that'll allow us to take the normal path through here. But this time, we are going to use some advanced slowdown effects with our stuff. Again, yes, I am using burst mode to make this a bit easier. And this time, we're going to do a buffer strategy in which we slow down. Using the zoom feature to wait. Hit this on the earliest possible frame to summon the Ledian. If you look around here is around the point where you might see one do a flip. Again, it's rather quick. It's one of the quickest animations in the game, so you have to be rather fast to get this. That definitely looks like it did not work. And yeah, there are quite a few levels in which getting the 3-star photo is actually more difficult than getting a 4-star photo. And there are multiple different strategies to do this. But if you want the most stars, you'll want to take the alternative route. Otherwise, you won't get good scores for this. But because I'm problems, I think the regular route is preferred here. I'm gonna do a couple of advanced strategies to try and speed this up, like trying to interrupt some of these leopard, maybe? Okay, well, never mind. It doesn't help if I miss the fluff route that I'm trying to get. Okay. When initially going on this Crystal Bloom, you want to use the zoom in feature just to make sure you summon the Ledian soon enough. And I'll just mash the crap out of the button this time. Again, it's entirely random when you choose to do the flip, so you have no way of knowing whether or not you'll get it. The only sign they're about to do it is when you see one of them look like it's ready to do a flip. It's kind of difficult, actually. This one, definitely one of the more difficult ones. What's really stupid about this side is I know exactly how to get it, just because, however, actually getting the proper 3-star photo seems a lot more precise than you think. Because only certain animation frames seem to count for it. The fastest way of, getting through the failed attempts, by the way, if you don't have a 3-star photo, since anything with exclamation point will automatically be a 3-star photo, just skip your animation, or, skip the showing the photos to Professor, and that'll allow you to retry a little bit quicker. Now, obviously, this is not going to work for a while, so I'll go ahead and fast forward, or I guess I'll show you guys later once we've I will come back once we've gotten the 3-star photo. Fun fact! I just found out that that photo also requires a 3-star rank plus a couple of other things, and requires you to be on research level 1. So that makes it 2 photos that we have to get on research level 1. Isn't that always really annoying? And yes, there's been quite a theme with some of these specific photos being more difficult, because as you're on the lower research levels, some of them can get generally very difficult to get. Especially since you usually don't spend much time on those research levels in general, so you don't really know much about those areas. Anyways, we have to go to Jungle Knight level 1 at this point, but this time around we will be able to knock out 2 good photos in a single try, so I'll go ahead and do that. And yes, I did find a new strategy to light up the Venusaur, so I don't have to worry about that. So anyway, so we're going for this again, except we want to go for the entire thing on level 1 instead. And you want to play your melody at the start. Actually, I might have... Because I did not know that, I actually kind of played it a little late. So anyways, you want to play your melody at the start to get, this, bug guy to show up. I mean, what is his name? Oh. Gosh darn it, sometimes I forget the names. Anyways, we have to get him to come out, and then we have to go through the same steps as we did to actually clear Triple Threat, but instead of fully clearing Triple Threat and going for the Aridos photo, we're going for the Yan Mega for Starfall instead. Oh yeah, that's what it is, Yan Mega. And then before we go in here, we need to make sure we play the melody to attract Yan Mega to the first area, and then do it again to attract him yet again. You have to do this 3 times to get him into the proper spot. Now, at first, this may take a while to get going. What you're waiting for is for a... opponent to come down at some point later. Unfortunately, we've not actually gotten it correct. Again, since this is kind of tight to get, it can take a little while to do that. The idea is to pretty much just use the melody non-stop. Okay. And yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised I missed this the first time, because I thought I would get it at least right away, but I guess not. Oh, there we go. He's finally here. Jeez Louise, that took very long. So now we have to power it up with the Luminorb so it summons its buddies, and this time we're just gonna wait for Yanmega to get hit. And you have to do this right as they use String Shot to get this to work. And then we pretty much actually get to follow the same steps as we did before, except this foe can only be gotten on Research Level 1. Involves you having to do that, and then very quickly turbo over here, where these Ledians will kind of do a flip in front of you, and this... Getting a good star on this can be tight, but from what I found, you do not have to get a photo of them in the air. Pretty much any photo of them being close and doing a flip will count. And from there, we're just gonna quit auto pick our photos and hope for the best. That's all we can really do in this, after all. Okay, we missed the Ledian photo, but we got Yanmega photo at least. The Yanmega photo will also be a 4-star if you happen to get it. The best one you want to pick is one that also has also has them right as the screenshot's animation is seen, because then you'll get more points from that. It also helps to have the other Aridos in the picture as well. to complete the actual photo, the main subject must be Ariados, but you still have to get Yanmega at some point to get its 4-star, so it can be rather difficult if you don't know how to do it. Anyways, the Ledian one, we were unfortunately a little bit too late. This one does tend to be more difficult, at least now I know an idea of how it's supposed to work. If you do want to speedrun this a little bit quick, I'll give you kind of tips. It can take a little while to get going because there's a lot of Liepard here that will actually stop you if you go too R, so it can take a little while. As for which route is faster, if you're going for the speedrun, probably just going the Ultra route is faster. So yeah. Obviously, for trying to get back to these as soon as possible, you just want to turbo all your way to the end and never let go of it until you reach that specific section. And yes, to get the full auto, we have to pretty much hold the turbo non-stop after we throw in the Luminorb at them. And then we will be able to get to the right position for the Ledian 3-star a little bit quicker. Beyond that, there's not a lot else you can do. You want to quit research after you're done. This is another one where, of course, if you have burst mode, you want to use that, because if you don't, it becomes really difficult. I just realized I think I may need to take a photo of either both of them on, or one of them doing a flip in front of me. Because in this particular course, they only do it once, which is a little bit annoying. Of course, now that you know about that, it can be a little bit difficult to get, so I'll go ahead and skip to when we get this to appear. Hello guys, a few attempts later and a couple of other setups, and we finally got a 3-star photo. Gosh dang, this is very precise. I know there's been a lot of precise photos, but this one is almost just as difficult. Of course, I've said that for every other photo before that. This is why having burst mode is so helpful, because without it, getting this perfect photo can be just like require a lot of luck. I did not get Diamond 3-star, but I don't care. I only wanted the 3-star, which is good enough for me. So with that, we can finally leave this area. I will not actually check this time whether or not I've gotten all the Pokemon. Instead, I'll do it later after I've caught all of the Pokemon in an area. So that way I can figure out actually if I'm missing anything off screen instead. And mind you, it does take quite a while. Anyways, we're going to Jungle Day for this next setup. This one has to be on max, unfortunately, because these next two photos can only be gotten while you're maxed out. So, they can take a little while to do, that's for sure. I actually kind of forget who exactly I'm going for, but to make it a little bit simpler, I'll start with Venusaur, the harder one to get, because, yeah, we have to do that annoying problem thing again. Yeah. So remember that Arbok chase sequence? We have to literally repeat the same thing again, except this time we have to actually continue on to the end where we get a potential chance to snap a 4-star photo of Venusaur. This can only happen after you finish the main area, and in case you didn't know, luring this guy over is one of the toughest things to do. Oh. You pretty much have to spam Fluffroot at this area until you're able to buffer him to get all the way to the other area. Then once he reaches about this spot, you pretty much have to spam scan until he gets to that stuff. And that'll automatically trigger a stare down, which is fine. We don't need that. All we need is for Venusaur to flee. Once Venusaur is freed off to the side, we'll be able to find him a few minutes later. This is kind of a trickier part. Oh, and there's also a Metapod for Star Photo. This one is a little bit interesting, to say the least. I actually kind of forgot where exactly it is. Okay. Well, that's fine. We don't need the Alto route. So you see there, because of all the tricks we did, Venusaur is now going to be sleeping on this area, and this is where we have to do the thing that I mentioned earlier. As far as I know, you have to float an Illumina Orb at this particular crystal boom in order to trigger an interesting effect to appear. And this can take a little while. Actually, I'm gonna be right back for a minute while I figure this out for a second. Fun fact! We also have to use music after the Illumina Orb is activated, so yeah, we're gonna do that. Because it's so late, I'm not sure if this will even work, though. Yeah, I think we've gotten a little bit too late. So I have the right idea for what's supposed to happen, but the game apparently never tells you this, but you're supposed to also play music once you're near a specific area. And knowing that specific area is kind of precise, so yeah. That's what I was hoping to not get, because now we have to do the annoying Arbok part again. The Arbok part is probably one of the hardest parts in this game, having to scare him off, then help him out. It's just really annoying. In case you're wondering, you can get a slightly faster movement of Arbok towards the tree by simply just spamming fruit at the beginning before it appears, and that'll cause it to usually go towards Venusaur a little bit quicker, and you don't need anything else from there. All you need to do is scan like this, and he will always wake up, and because this interrupts them both, they will always, you will always get the always get Arbok to use that stare, no matter what happens. However, there is another thing that we will also try and do as well. This one, we won't do as interesting. Anyway, there is a river on the side where we can potentially find a series of Metapod. Of course, since we don't really know where that is, it's best to use our scam feature, basically spamming it, until we see 3 icons pop up. Okay, there it is. Over there. If we play music to them, they will use Harden. This is how we get the 4-star photo. Oh, wow. Exactly. Now, the music is going to be required for another pose as well, so this is where we're going to go for the second heart. And yes, this part can be kind of annoying. And no matter what, we have to do that in 3-star. Okay, there we go. There we go, we got it. And yes, in case you didn't know, when you get the correct animation, you You can make Venusaur jump into the water. Yeah, that's kind of right. What's a Venusaur? Who's a grass-type Pokemon that normally doesn't do well with water. Just casually jumps in the water and swims. And yes, that's the 4-star animation, in case you're wondering. It's kind of difficult to get. So, obviously, I was a little bit late on getting the animation to appear, and oh my goodness. Okay, alright, that was a very long load for some reason. Probably because I had so many photos. Okay, we'll just look at the different 4-star photos, and I'll take a photo of this one. Because it looks like him being mad is alright for the game to give us a 4-star, so it's fine. So I'll take this animation for Metapod, and from there we'll be done. So that should hopefully be all of the Pokemon in this area. Perfect timing, and a diamond, of course. And diamond again. Good, okay, so that takes care of every single Pokemon in the jungle area. Both Jungle Day and Jungle Night. Now, back to Elsewhere Forest to do some random nonsense. And Elsewhere Forest has a lots of different secrets. And I mean, a lots of different secrets. In fact, this area probably is one of the longest and hardest areas to get a lot of stuff done in it. There are so many things to remember, it's actually kind of stupid. So, before we do anything else, we will momentarily turn off our burst mode again to try and make things a bit easier. And then go to Elsewhere Forest, Forest Day. Has to be on Research Level 3, because not a lot of stuff happens on Research Level 1, Level 2, let's be fair. If you want to get most of the things to happen, you have to be on Research Level 3. And I'm gonna start with the little spot area just to make it a little bit easier. We already got a good high score, so we're not going to necessarily focus on the first parts. I will, however, be taking quick photos of, I forgot to turn this on, of the other Pokemon as we go through, just so I remember who is doing what. Okay, so this first part can be a little bit difficult. So you'll see this Esper on the quip. If you scan multiple times, she'll fly down. Once she's flowing down, you have to use Fluff Fruit to lead her to Trevenant. Like this. Is a very slow process, as you can see. She will very slowly walk over to the spot. And we're using the zoom feature to slow down time, because otherwise we won't be able to get this. Once she gets however close, you want to throw an Illuminor at both of them. And you'll get a very interesting animation where Trevenant will actually pick him up, like this. All you have to do is make sure they're both hit with an Illuminor, and there you go. It's quite a exciting pose, to say the least. Unfortunately, we didn't really have much time to do anything with him, but ooh, we actually got the thing we wanted anyways. Oh, okay, that's the Shiftry we're looking for. So for Shiftry's section is kind of hard. You have to follow him as he jumps to branch. Then when he stops at one of the particular areas, you have to hit him as he's jumping in the middle of one of his tree animations, and that's what will cause him to do a different animation. Because we've missed that, we have to go for a backup instead. We're going to scan the area on the right until we see a Kecleon, which is noted by the question mark. And once we see that, we could just do that. That one's particularly easy to get, though, so don't be too worried if you miss it. Oh, and also, apparently, he actually stops a little bit sooner than I thought. Now, I'll probably have to do that again, because what you are supposed to do is hit Shift Tree himself with an Illumina Orb before he goes over to that area, because otherwise he won't actually go over to the tree, which I believe I actually did, and then you hit that Illumina Orb, and that's what causes Shift Tree to use Wind Gust or whatever on the tree to make it happen. Okay, so for now we're gonna stick with the stuff in the secret area. To get to the secret area, once again, we have to do something very similar to what we did before. We have to go all the way to the end of the course. Only this time, we're going to be scanning and taking the Sunny Spot route, and if we are quick about it, we can do 2 different, Lental requests in the same run, so that is what we're going to be doing. And to make things a little bit easier, I'll try and go for the most difficult request out there, just to make it a little bit easier. So anyways, take this request, pick their stuff in there, yeah. And we'll head into the secret. And I think I'll just wait at this point. Okay, so at the beginning of this, you'll want to spam the scam feature. After you spam the scam enough times, this Espeon will come down and you can feed it Fluff Fruit, which is really easy to do, by the way. To very easily get a 4-star photo, all you have to do is get a photo of it actually eating the Fluff Fruit, and that'll be good. Now for the Lotad one, this one's a little bit more tighter. Oh. Alright. Okay. So, if you do a series of animations, which include getting that Espeon to clean himself and then throw an Illumina Orb, you can get all the Sawsbuck to come over. This is probably arguably the most difficult part of the aim. And to make this simplest, we'll make sure to do this. Okay. So here we can see all the different forms appearing. This takes a very long time, by the way, and you'll probably have to lure them together using a couple of stuff. It can take quite a long time. The idea is you pretty much have to do this until every single one of the Sawsbucks rise at like the exact same time. Is kind of difficult, but you kind of have an idea on how it's supposed to work. This is one of the more difficult ones to get, if not probably the most difficult one to get with this secret route. Not sure if I can get it while also doing that, so that's why I've decided to go with this. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I'm not going to necessarily take a photo of Sawsbuck because all 4 photos of Sawsbuck need to be in frame in order for this to count. And yes, I did take a photo of Esper as well, because Esper, of course, will give you another bonus as well when you finish. There's, well, I guess if she's being held up, that is her 4 stars, so good thing we took care of that, and there's our request complete. Oh, and that actually does count. Okay, cool. So we got 4, looks like 5 requests completed at the exact same time. The only one we missed was the center one, which, like I said, this one, very difficult to get, if not one of the most difficult ones. In fact, I'll pretty much ignore the Lotad request now, or at least not focus on it, and instead focus directly on getting to Elsewhere Forest End. And this time when I combine the effect, by the way, I'll also do a couple of other things as well, so Also, I don't know exactly what that tile said, but that's fine because I don't really care. Also, I just realized I have a 3.4 million score on this. Very impressive.
Take care.
Pretty high score, if you ask me. Okay, I forgot. Apparently, there's a Kecleon 4-star photo that's needed, so I think I'll have to maybe go back to springtime and have him do that thing again. It's hard to know. So we're gonna follow the same steps as we did before to get to the Altair route. And just like before, we cannot use anything on Espeon, otherwise she will not be able to lead us to the area. So yeah. As far as I know, this is the only way to get to Winter. It's actually rather difficult. Okay. So now that we're in Winter, there's... I'm gonna go ahead and go for the simpler spot here. We pretty much have to just spam the crap out of the Illumina Orbs, and if we have enough power-ups as we go through, Gardevoir will periodically teleport to the different areas. Our goal is to keep on doing this until eventually it teleports multiple times throughout the area. It will not teleport any further unless you've not powered him up, so you need to make sure she's constantly powered up. Another way of tracking where she is to just follow the Deerling as you go around. Also, when you reach this spot, I believe you may have to hit this as well. I'm not actually quite sure. Oh, okay, there we go. So that animation is what we want. That is our 4-star photo. This can only happen when Gardevoir is fully powered up, so... we do all of that, and that should hopefully be our 4-star photo. For the other Pokemon that's up there, known as Ninetales, you have to do something else with him. It's quite a bit interesting, but if you do the right animation, he'll use Will-O-Wisp on you, which is kind of interesting. I don't actually know much on how to get the Ninetales for 3-star photos and other stuff, other than its default pose I've been told about, which shows you how to get the 4-star, but otherwise, not much. So yeah. You can kind of see why we completed that one particular quest, Little Lost Deerling, as soon as possible, because once you do that, you unlock this secret route. Without that, you won't have this secret route unlocked. Once you have done it, it permanently unlocks for you, which makes this a lot easier. Okay, so I am gonna just attempt this, the hard part, and go straight for the hard request, just to make things a little bit interesting. And also, apparently there's a Ninetales here. I'll go ahead and try and get a good photo of it while we're here, since it's pretty rare for him to appear. This river, by the way, is our area where we'll be able to get... okay. Now, Espeon has to be fed a fluff food here. If you don't feed her, she will not go to the specific spot. So from here on out, we pretty much have to stay in full scan mode for the entire duration of the setup. Okay, so there's the cleaning animation. And this second animation will call the fourth Sazbek over, which should call everyone else over. This time, however, we are going to try our best to lead the Sazbek over to a specific spot, which can take a little while to get. This second part is completely alternative, but you have to get all the Sazbak to the center at some point. Okay, there we go. Then once they all get to here, if you can empower them all together, they'll all roar together. This is kind of tricky. And yes, to finish this off, you have to empower all 4 of them at the same time. I honestly don't know which is required for this, so... This is definitely a lot more difficult. At least you know how to get all the 4 Sazbak in the photo, and that's about it. That roar animation, by the way, is what you need for the 4-star of Sazbak, as well as the other stuff. An additional side effect is when you get this star, take this photo, you need to pick one where every single Sazbak from all the different seasons are in the frame at the exact same time. If that does not happen, 4-star photo cannot happen. You can be kind of tight to figure out the timing, since most of the time a lot of them will get left out. Meanwhile, though, I will go ahead and take this one, because at least it's a good photo, which is impressive, I guess. And again, the 4-star animation is what we want, so we'll go ahead and take this. Okay. With that, we've gotten our 4-star Gardevoir photo. There's our request completed. Okay, while I didn't complete the request, that was still useful because we still had to get a free star Sazbak. So, at least we got that out of the way, so it's not a complete loss. And we'll get this one more attempt before going off. So I can maybe research more on how to do this. But for now, we're going to retry because we have to get more animations to happen. Particularly Gardevoir needs a lot of different animations for it. Gardevoir can be kind of tricky to get 1-star and or 2-star photos for it, so...
Good luck.
So, just like before, we're going to follow the same stuff to get to Winter, but this time we're going to do things a little bit different so we can get the Ninetales 4-star photo to appear. Probably the tightest thing that we have to do in this next spot is we have to actually feed one of the deerly and then interrupt it as it's feeding fruit, and that will cause Ninetales to get a little bit mad at us. And then we just provoke it, similar to how we did other Pokemon, powering up with an Illumina Orb, then throwing a Fluff Fruit at it, and this is a new animation to appear. And yes, in order for the Winter thing to work, Espeon has to be on this side, by the way. The game never mentions that, but she has to be there to lead you, otherwise you can't enter Winter. It's kind of difficult like that. Okay, so... we're gonna literally do the exact same thing as we did before, but this time, after the second animation is complete of Gardevoir teleporting around, we want to ignore her the 3rd time around when she stops here, and from there the deerling will get kind of confused and stop, and it's from here we want to lead to this Ninetales, who will start getting more interested on what is happening. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and spam the Fluff Fruit. Oh. Okay. Is he gonna jump down? Okay, we got the jump down at least. There we go. Alright. Well, that didn't take too long to get. So we were able to get Gardevore's 1-star photo knocked out of the way, as well as getting the beautiful Whittle-Wisp 4-star photo from Ninetales. So that should be at least one request complete. I will go ahead and attempt the Season 1 again, because if we can get that out of the way, that'll be really nice. I think now that I've gotten to that point, I'm going to do a quick change to burst mode to see if I can maybe buffer getting the 4-star photo here. I'll start as soon as the Sazbek roars. Again, all 4 Sazbek have to be in the frame, otherwise it won't count. Is rather difficult to get. One of the more difficult ones to get. It's one of the more difficult ones especially to do and get a high score for, as has been the case for a lot of them, unfortunately, which has been kind of an ongoing theory, sort of. Yeah. Oh, and this is not the end of this. There's still more things we have to do here, including a couple of Drampa photos in here, but the only way to trigger that is to go to Summer instead, which is a little bit different, to say the least. Definitely more obnoxious to get to. Okay. I don't know if there's a good 2-star opportunity for Gardevoir, so going ahead and taking that is really good. I always never knew, by the way, that apparently when you do all the animations correctly, Gardevoir straight up comes to the actual Illumina spot. Which is a little bit annoying when you're going for Espeon strategies, or for this particular Lental request, because she really likes to get in your way. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit annoying. Actually, okay, I should be using fast so I have to go over here. Okay, there we go. We want to do these steps as early as possible, because once all the Sazbek have been called over, we can actually cause them to do their animation. Probably one of the more interesting things, though, is to get the later ones to come over, you have to get them to move towards a certain area, and that can take quite a while to get. If you wait long enough, they will automatically come over, though, eventually. Okay. I'm gonna... Also, I think I just realized the key. You have to have all 4 Sazbek get hit by the same Illumina glow, otherwise the effect can't occur. Which is why you want to use the Fruit Fruit on them, because otherwise it gets a lot more difficult to do. Also, I just realized... Kecleon can eat Fluff Fruit in this stream. I always forget about that. So I'll go ahead and do that and see if that causes a 4-star animation to appear. That would be really cool. Otherwise, we're going to manually select our photo for Ninetales and then just go straight to this other one. Okay, I'd like to see the full animation of this appearance, so I'll go for this one. Just because I want a lot of star points on this one. Okay, apparently this also counts, so I'll go ahead and take this one for Gardevoir. Okay, unfortunately that one doesn't work. So we'll go ahead and show photos to the professor. That's fine, we can figure out how to do its 4-star later. And yep, we got some more requests completed, which is really good. for not really doing much research, well, actually, I did do research on this, I just didn't do as good of a research as I could have. I completed a surprising amount of requests in a small amount of time, but that's only the beginning of what's to come. In the next section, once we get Gardevoir done, we are gonna not go to winter anymore and go straight to summer twice, because that's the only time we can get Drampa to appear in the same spot. So this course definitely really long in terms of trying to get all the different star photos here. It's kind of difficult, actually. Okay, so those were Ninetales flames. Thanks for looking into that for me. I'm for the other Pokemon. We're having such a good time. Oh my gosh, what beautiful snow crystals. They look just like flowers. Nice. No way, and you got a perfect shot of it too? That must have been hard to take, huh? Real and Phil told me they wanted to feed Essie off. Ah, I'd ate that foot flew right up. I bet that coming air of yours is what made Espeon feel so safe and secure. Oh wow, you got a Shiftry of action. Look at that whirlwind of petals. Well, actually, it's not the best whirlwind, but it is fine enough, I guess. That's right, Trevlin seems to be awfully kind to the other Pokemon that live in the forest. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, too. Okay, so I have 5 of them left. 2 of them being the Drampa ones. And the others being the Boulder. Oh, keep in mind, this is not the only thing we have to do. We have to get photos of Applin as well, so there's quite a bit more stuff to do. But for now, that's going to be it for now. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, cut, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!